Hello and welcome to Thought for January the 25th. Our readings are Genesis chapter 41, Psalm 45 and Matthew chapter 27. And our thought is, therefore nations will praise you forever. The above quotation is found in the final verse of today's Psalm 45. The whole psalm is an awesome, heart-challenging description of the kingdom and of Jesus, saying that grace is poured out upon your lips. Therefore God has blessed you forever. Verse 2. What awesomely prophetic verses follow. Gird your sword on your thigh, O mighty one, in your splendour and majesty. And what a vision of the divine action to come upon the earth, and how soon now. We read on in verse 4, in your majesty ride out victoriously for the cause of truth and meekness and righteousness. Those three words, truth, meekness and righteousness, will cause your name to be remembered in all generations. Therefore nations will praise you forever and ever, as we read in verse 17. This praise is something the nations will have to learn. And what a learning curve that will be. How awesome the start of the kingdom will be. We are told in verse 5, your arrows are sharp in the heart of the king's enemies. The peoples fall under you. We call to mind God's words through Isaiah in his words about the latter days in chapter 2, that he shall judge between the nations and shall decide disputes for many peoples. Verse 4. We sense from this that the nations will learn to praise you forever. There is no solution for disputes today. Back in Psalm 45 we read that as a result of the king's arrows being sharp in the heart of the king's enemies, so that the peoples fall under you, in verse 5 records, what an awesome period that will be. But we then note the declaration is, your throne, O God, is forever and ever. The scepter of your kingdom is a scepter of righteousness. So Jesus is seen as God? The next verse gives us the explanation, that because you have loved righteousness and hated wickedness, therefore God, your God, has anointed you with the oil of gladness. Finally, let us call to mind how Paul describes the climax in his first letter to the Corinthians. He tells us that Jesus must reign until he has put all his enemies under his feet. The last enemy to be destroyed is death. For God has put all things in subjection under his feet. But when it says all things are put in subjection, it is plain that he is accepted who put all things in subjection unto him. When all things are subjected to him, then the Son himself will also be subjected to him who put all things in subjection under him, that God may be all in all. Chapter 15 verses 25 to 28. And therefore nations will praise you forever. Well, thank you once again for joining us for Thought for the Day, where together we can open up the pages of God's Word. That Word is a lamp to our feet and a light to our path.